Danny on the beat, boy.
Welcome to another live episode of Halftime Adjustments. It's your host, Eddie Arnett, my man J. Luke. What's going on, J. Luke?
Yes, sir. Tighten up, baby. Tighten up.
Tighten up. G Witt is out tonight, man. He's date night tonight, man. So we'll let him off the hook for tonight's show, man. But that's more important than hanging out with us. But man, come on in, take a seat. Let's talk about these Titans today. J. Luke, man, week 8, coming out of a bye week. No variables got the record of being undefeated. I think it was 6-0.
6-0. Yeah.
Coming out of a bye. A lot of the trade wins brewing this week. I know we didn't get on to talk about the Byard trade, but we can mention it now in the beginning. But, you know, if you've been rocking with us since the summer, this offseason, J. Lou told y'all, go back and watch the film. Go back and watch the show, man. J. Lou told y'all, don't be surprised if Byard, Tannehill, and even Henry will be traded. He actually said that he thought that all three would not make it throughout the season on the team.
Yes.
And he called it, man. Jay Lee, you called it, man. Let's talk about just for a few minutes about this Byard deal.
Yeah, man. It was, as a Titan fan, I was chatting back and forth with my brother and stuff at the game and some of the folks that sit around us. Name me the last Titan that was a well-known Titan that retired a Titan. That started his whole career and played his whole career. And I don't count Bruce Matthews. I know today was Oiler throwback. He was an Oiler and Titan. But, I mean, I've seen McNabb play for Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it. So, and when you look at this team, and the way the NFL set up now, if you have a good front office, a rebuild does not have to be terrible years like the dark ages. I mean, you look at a team that has the most cap money, second most cap money next year. You got a coach that players want to come play for, and you have a state that has no state taxes. And believe me, that plays a lot for some of these players when you start talking about contracts. So you knew that you got to start moving. Look at folks that are on expiring contracts. If Derrick Henry's here past Tuesday, then hey, great. If not, I understand the business decision, because do you want to lose these guys in free agency and not get nothing for them, or try to load up on some draft picks? So I thought they got a fair compensation for what Byard was. I think when you look at a 5th and 6th, that's the equivalent to a 4th. Plus, you got a player that plugged right in and played today. I mean, a new start for him could do him some good too. Plus, he's 4 or 5 years younger than Byard. Hate to see Byard go. Hate that he didn't get a chance, especially after being in all the promotion for the Love Your Blues, that he didn't get a chance to be in the field. But I understood the business side, and again, it was something I thought would happen in the summer, and I think they had some collaboration agreements in to at least make it to the bye. And we kept talking about an early bye came at a good time. I think that came at a good time to say, okay. And again, they took care of him by getting him at least to a contender. Now, you can only go whatever your dance partner, trade partner is going to give you. But I thought they got fair compensation, and you sent him to a team that, heck, he could be playing in February.
Yeah, and thank y'all for joining us, man. Those are just coming in. So, yeah, we, like I said before, we talked about this over the summertime that one of the big three will be gone, this season, and it's Byard, and it's a business, man. Once you get over the hurt feelings of, do you want to lose your face of your team? No, you don't lose your dogs that have been here for a long time, but you understand it's a business,
right?
And the only way Rand can get this franchise built the way that everybody wants it to be, he's going to have to make some moves. He's going to have to get some draft capital, which we didn't have. So now we got like 8 picks. Had 5, got 8. And so that's great. And
you got room, now you have room to manipulate and move up, even use those as trade bait. So
that's right. And I saw a lot of people on social media talking about, you can't find talent in the later rounds. I mean, go back, David Long Jr., go back, 6th round pick. Go back. I mean, you just think about Brock Purdy playing for the 49ers quarterback.
Yes.
Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the draft. So to say that.
Cortland Finnegan. He was the 7th rounder.
So, I mean, we can go on and on about, I mean, there's some Hall of Famers that were drafted late in the draft. So they just got to do the homework. They've got this analytical group, and they've got to find those type of players that we want to see around here, some playmakers. And so coming out of about, like we said, man, the trade wins for Bruin, big names on the move. still trade deadline is at Tuesday at 4
Tuesday
p.m. So,
4.
but there was a leak that came out and said they were going to keep Henry. They weren't going to trade him or D-Hop. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But the fans, man, been angry about stuff. 2-4, J. Lou, a lot going on. 2 straight losses, man. Who else is going to be on the move? Brayway Easton came out this week and said there's going to be a 2-quarterback system for the game. We talked about that, said didn't like that. And, man, coming in quiet as kept, the Falcons have one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL statistically.
Yes.
Run against the pass. And they only had given up 1 rushing touchdown for the season up to this point. Results, Titans 28, J. Lou. Falcons 23. Levis gets his first NFL career start. They got the ball first. Had a fumble. But, man, tell me your initial thoughts on this one, man, because this was a special game today.
Yeah, man. My initial thoughts was, and you seen it if you was there at the game and was able to see Tim Kelly running off the field. He was beyond excited because I think he has somebody that makes his offense go. The offensive line, they did okay. They did good until Hubbard got hurt and we had to bring Dillon off the bench.
I was so
and
nervous.
It started leaking a little bit, but they played average to me like they've been playing all season. The difference you had was the person back there taking the snaps was not afraid to let go of the ball. We've been talking about it forever. When you have a D-Hop whose catch radius is out of this world, just give him a chance. And you saw that today with Levis. Fun fact, he had 3 of the top 10 longest air yard touchdowns in the season in the game today with his touchdown passes. And so he didn't, again, I'll preface it by saying only him and Mariota are the only rookies ever to have 4 touchdowns. We saw the trajectory of Mariota's career. Not so, again, this is just a 1-game sample. But to me, what I think people got to remember why the Titans were so high on him, he was a rare breed in college that, take his last season away when it came out that he was hurt and go back to his junior season. He was probably the most NFL ready QB to come out. He played under center in college. He was able to change plays at the line and stuff at Kentucky, the whole 9, where a lot of these quarterbacks coming in now, more of a spread type offense, something different to have to adjust to the NFL. And to me, I'll be honest, to not have a delay of game penalty at all today. And if you go back and watch the game, he ran the play clock down to 1 several times, making adjustments or doing whatnot. He checked out of plays. I thought he made smart decisions. The smartest play I thought he made was the bootleg that wasn't there on 3rd down and slid down.
That was
instead of throwing it. And again, I'm not mad at the offensive play call because in the stands we were saying, they're gonna burn timeouts. They got 9-10 in the box. A bootleg would work. I just think the bootleg was too deep. I would have liked to see it go the other way because the DN didn't bite. But you saw him go down and take an 8-yard sack instead of just throwing the ball. And that you don't see rookies do that. You see them panic and try to get rid of. So I think he only got sacked twice today.
He did.
Had 1 pass that I thought he was trying to get rid of it, and Chig wasn't paying attention, and lucky it wasn't picked. But other than that, he gave your receivers a chance to throw the ball. And you saw we were texting back and forth at the game. He threw off his back foot 3 times and threw perfect passes. That touchdown pass to NWI, you have coaches in the NFL that will tell you don't make that throw. Right. It was on his back foot, back across the field. But I thought his poise and his command of the huddle and all was not one that you would think a rookie would have. And again, the Atlanta defense is no slouch. Number 3 coming in, and they were getting some pressure on him. So overall, you couldn't ask for a better debut for him to start stacking on. For somebody who, let's just be honest, when we last saw him against Chicago, he looked like a rookie. Now, we knew he had an arm. We knew the arm strength has been there and all, but when we saw him against Chicago, he looked like a rookie. And today, it gives me hope, Eddie, I'm be honest, because we've come on here, me, you, G-Wit, we've all come on here and talk about coaching. It gave me hope today seeing him that something's going on that we ain't seeing in practice for him to come out there and be prepared like this.
And I gotta show this, man.
Mayo Willie, baby.
Mayo Willie, man. So you took one of mine out of my mouth, man. I was gonna say kudos to the coaches this week. I know we've been given a hard time by coaching the players up. Give Charles London his credit, man. He had Will Levis ready. They had him ready today. I mean, you even saw it on the sideline. If you were at the game, he was doing a lot of one-on-one, talking to him a lot when he was coming to the sideline and doing timeouts. I'm gonna say this about the O. I'm gonna say they play a little bit better than average, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Levis actually, if you paid attention, he had time to hold the ball just a little bit longer today than normal, and it might have been the play design. I'm not sure, but a few times he had a chance to kind of look and progress, and you like to see him a rookie first game, and he was progressing.
He went through all of them.
And so. And again, people can say what they want, but like you said, like you mentioned, the Falcons had a top 3 defense, quiet as kept, and top 5 on a lot of statistical categories. And so, man, it wasn't like they were playing, the Carolina Panthers or somebody like that. So, give D-Hop, man. D-Hop, he gets all his touchdowns today, and give him the veteran move where he got away with offensive passing.
We finally was on the right side of one of those as Titan fans.
We finally got one. Oh, man. And then my other one, of course, I said D-Hop. But, yeah, D-Hop, a great game. We got to figure out what's wrong with Chig, man. Spider brought up. Chig drops it. I mean, he lays it on wide open.
Wide open. Wide open.
And so he's got to work on his hands, man. Wiley being out today, I thought he could have been used more in the pass game because it was kind of a telltale sign almost when they had Wesco in there and Raider that they were going to run. But anyway, great game. And I give kudos to Tim Kelly too. The play calling was excellent.
Yes.
I thought he was a little conservative after they jumped up about the 14 about 14-3. And so, but again, he pulled out some things like the 3rd and 1 call when he handed it off to Chig. That was a great
call. That was an Arthur Smith special because he used to do that with Jonnu all the time.
Yes. And so, man, again, thank y'all for joining, man. Rodney's in tonight. Nathan, man, what's going on? Tighten up, man. Rodney, Taylor, Will, man, all y'all keep coming in, getting your questions and your comments in. So, J. Lou, let's look a little bit deeper into the offense because Derrick Henry, man, had a quiet 101 today on 22 carries.
Hey, 22 carries is the perfect number for Derrick Henry, and to me, it didn't feel force-fed. Like we mentioned it before we started. I didn't know he had 100 yards after the game, and he got enough touches. You saw them when you go back and talk about play calling. The second downs and shorts today, I thought that Tim Kelly called some of his best plays because usually we struggle at that. And you saw Derrick Henry in on 3rd down a lot more today. I saw him in on 3rd down a lot more. It was one time, it had to be 3rd and 1, where Henry, I think it was an injury timeout for one of the Falcons. Henry was running out, and they waved him back on to stay on for the short 3rd down. So I thought that helped, and you saw him running with a purpose. And again, they were stacking the boxes, and he was the turf monster caught him a couple times. But I thought he ran hard. Levis put a pretty touch pass on him on the little out screen pass right over the shoulder that Henry caught and kept going. So I thought Derrick played well. Glad to see that Phillips is in the game and just playing receiver. And I think that played perfect. Burks coming off injury. I thought he played well. 2 good plays where one, the defender just made a play, and the second one he just ran out of real estate on the sideline. But again, 2 good plays, and you saw what having a quarterback what those throwing the ball down the field does is it had to bring them safeties back. Because if you watch the game, Atlanta was 1 high safety in the beginning when we run it. And then from midway second quarter on, they played 2 high safety until the last offensive drive when they knew we were running the ball. So that's what that's how you use the run to set up the pass. But I thought Henry did well. I'll give MPF his due. He did a phenomenal job at left tackle until they had to shift him over. But I to your point, I thought that left side with him and the other rookie, Peter, that's something as a Titan fan that you hope continues to develop over these next 11 games, and you solidify that where that's one piece you don't have to worry about in the offseason.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering when Hubbard did go out, why they didn't turn to Dillon.
That
at
man,
tackle.
I
You know,
said
it's
the
kind of
same
strange.
thing up in the. I was like, why is Dylan? You just don't want to give him a shot at tackle.
Right. So I mean, you know, it worked out. Fortunately, I was like I said, when I saw Dillard coming to the game, man, I was like, oh
Oh
man.
man.
And they put him at left tackle where he struggled. You know, he
Yes.
had some good pass pro against Bud Dupree, and so you know it worked out this time. But
Yeah.
you got a tougher defense coming up
He
on
has
Thursday
TJ
night.
Watt Thursday.
Right. Rodney says he's wondering if all the trade talk kind of put a spark in the team. I think so, man.
I do too.
You look at it, and you say, man, they traded one of the faces of the franchise.
They traded the captain. He was
They
the team
traded a
captain this year.
captain,
Yeah.
right? And so, what would they do to me if I'm not
Right.
performing, right? Dion, to your point, Jay Lou, he just said he noticed the defense started backing out of the box when we started stretching the field.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
I will say, my bad. Didn't mean to
No,
cut
you
you
go
off.
ahead. Go ahead.
I will say, you saw today, even though Burks statistically didn't have the game, you saw that he's a formidable threat as a receiver. You saw D-Hop have a lot of one-on-one with the safety trying to cheat over. And
Right.
if you look at the second or third touchdown, the one he caught on the slant, that's on a linebacker. That's been there all year long. We just haven't had a quarterback willing to throw the ball to him on there. But a linebacker's not covering D-Hop on a slant. But I think you saw what you saw the potential with Burks on this field, what he's capable of doing, how that helps free up D-Hop to in turn be D-Hop.
You know, and if you think back, man, when we first got Burks, they were saying he had some speed, and
Yes.
we didn't really get to see it early on in his career with us because he was hurt. But you see
Mhm.
now, like you said, he can stretch the field, he can get behind the defenders, and just that threat along with D-Hop going deep, like Deanna said, and you said, that pulls the 9 men out of the box, and now you got to
Yes.
respect the pass game, right?
Mhm.
And you got a quarterback that can slang that. I mean, just
Flick of the
dimes
wrist.
everywhere, man. He's throwing off his back foot,
Back foot,
60
man.
yards. I'm like, that's quarterback malpractice.
Yes.
And so yeah, I mean, give kudos to that. I will say this, man. Shame on the Titans fans that was at the game for booing Malik, man. And it goes back to Rodney asking why Brew was snapping the ball over everybody's head. It wasn't his fault on the fumble. Now he could have fell on it. He tried to pick it up. Okay, I can see the people get mad at that, man. Don't boo the guy. He didn't do anything. He deserved to be booed to come in the game.
He's just doing the plays. He's helping the team as much as he can. And again, to Rodney's point about Brewer, he had that fumble, and then you did it 3 more times on Will Levis. And if you look, it literally messed up the momentum of every single one of those plays. And this ain't the first game that he's had terrible shotgun snaps.
That's
and
right.
You think about a team like the Titans. If you watch the Titans this year, we've been in shotgun a lot more than ever. You would think that's something that he should have figured out. But Brewer, he's got to bring them snaps down.
Yeah, and so, you know, like I said, game ball for Levis for coming out today.
Yeah.
You know, the joke is he threw 4 touchdowns a day compared to Tannehill's 2, and he's played most of the season. So, and I think Di said there's no way that Tannehill should take another snap for this team unless it's an injury. I mean, so you got Pittsburgh coming up. We'll talk about Pittsburgh after a while, but if he has enough performance, J. Lou, like he had today, and I'm not so what we got to do is we're gonna have to take the highs and the lows with him, right? So if he comes out and he lays an egg Thursday, you can't be booing and ready for
a change.
leak. You're right. You gotta take the highs and the lows.
Yeah,
this is great.
I think he gave you flashes that you can see what the potential this offense can be with a quarterback that is semi-mobile in the pocket because he's got some speed on him. He's mobile, and somebody who's not afraid to throw it. That I think that's been the biggest thing this year is you've seen Tannehill lock in on a receiver or not. And to Malik's point, Malik still hasn't comprehended what NFL open is. And you've got we heard he was a gunslinger coming out. You've got somebody with that mentality that's fitting this offense. So I agree. I mean, even if he comes out and lays an egg, and again, it's Pittsburgh. They've got some tape on him. You got to go up there on a short week. And he's a rookie still. But I'm like you. I don't think you call for a quarterback change. You've got to let him build some consistency.
Yeah. Great point again, Di. He said Burks is looking like another Kenny Britt. Shows flashes at times, ton of potential, but can't seem to put it together. I agree, man. Yeah. That is a great assessment. He does remind you of Kenny Britt, a big physical receiver. They had some great speed, and every once in a while he would flash, and you'd be like, "Oh, here we go," and then
disappeared for 2 games.
The only thing I would say about Levis, if I thought there was something he could have did better on, and it was a third down play, is the second time he threw the ball to Burks and he ran out of bounds.
Yes,
he had Phillips wide open for the first down. And he went for the deep shot. That's fine, but take what the defense gives you, and you extend the drive. But the Titans end up having to punt there, and so, but yeah. Again, man, 238 yards passing for the rookie today in his debut, 19 of 29 on the day, 4 touchdowns. D. Henry, 22 carries, 101 yards. Spears, 3 for 27. D. Hop, 4 for 128 and 3 touchdowns. And NWI finishes off the touchdown passing flurry with a 33-yard reception today. So the Titans put up 375 yards of offense, man. That's a lot considering what they've been doing the past few games. 67 plays a day, so you kept your defense off the field. You still got area for a lot of improvement on third down efficiency, 5 of 15. 1 for 1 on fourth down. Great fake punt call.
Oh, great call.
So I had my youngest son of the game today. He said, "Daddy, they gonna fake it." I said, "No, they're not." And
he called it.
He called it. 6 penalties for 53 yards a day. The penalties today, man, it was. I don't ever blame the officials, but today the penalties were just weird. I'll say that way.
What is the problem? The officiating crew prior to halftime was allowing you to play on both sides.
That's true.
And then they came out after halftime and wanted to kind of be a little ticky-tacky. Right. And that, to your point, that's what messes up with the flow. But I thought they were non-calling PI on both sides. Yeah. Because I'll tell you, and we ain't got on defense yet, but Christian Fulton got away with a couple today, which is great. But I mean, he got away with a couple. They were consistent with that on both sides.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Will, and both Dion. He said the boos are for the coaches.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Yeah. It just sounded bad.
Bad. Yeah.
Because he was on the field. I understand. I mean, I was trying to figure out what they were doing at that point. Anyway, when they did, especially the second time. I was like, you got Will in the groove. The offense is moving now. You want to interject? But Taylor, he says Levis benefited from sitting and watching it slow the game down.
Agree.
Yeah, it does.
Agreed.
It works.
Yeah.
And so let's flop over to the defense, man, because although they played well, they gave up some things today.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that we saw a little bit more blitzing today from Bowen.
Yes.
Particularly from Dr. Gibby and Shazier. And so talk about this defense, man, and what you saw today. You saw Big Jeff. You saw the D-line eating, though. I'm going to tell you that.
Man, so when they talked about, the trade rumors and everything, firing them up, I think you got to remember the whole team lost Kevin Byard, traded off, but the defense lost the captain.
Right.
Him and Big Jeff, they the ones talking to the team before it starts. I thought that defense line, that was probably the best the D-lines played. And what shows that about how the drop off from our front four to the backups, the Falcons had a drive going. As soon as they plugged Big Jeff in back in, it was a fumble. It was a fumble. And I said it in the thing. They were firing off the ball today. Me and you were texting back and forth, and we was like, Hurl looked like he's about 70-80%. But Hurl ended up having a decent game when you think about it. Now, somebody put it in there about the 2 clotheslines. The second was the makeup call because the first one should have been roughing the passer too.
Yeah,
but
it was good.
It was good to see him get off. I like seeing Gibson get a lot more playing time. That lets you know. So again, you got to remember we have a new GM who he only has 6 folks that he's drafted outside of the people he brought in. He didn't draft Rashad Weaver. Rashad Weaver was a healthy scratch
today.
And you put in Gibson, who I thought played well. I can't say enough about the defense. Gibby, can't say enough about him. I was glad to see him get in there on the sack. And again, couple times, you just got to take what you're going to get in coverage with him. Now, I will say it was nice seeing him in that nickel package. Edmonds that came that's filling in for Byard, seeing him play down at that linebacker spot. And again, this is somebody who was a first-round draft pick 4 or 5 years ago for the Steelers. So again, a different team could be different for him. The one thing that I'll say about the defense, we've got to learn to stop going for the ball and tackle. For as good as Chris, now I will say this: Christian Fulton had the best tackles that I think I've seen him have in a long time. That was twice today. He was on an island with Cordell Patterson and an island with Bijan Robinson, and he stopped them both by himself until his team got there. But once the receivers was catching the ball today, the secondary, they just want to go for the ball. They're doing too much punching instead of trying to tackle. So that's the one thing they've got to fix, because again, that's football 101. But I thought overall, to lose first game that everybody on this defense has ever played in their career without Kevin Byard, because he hasn't missed a game. So you wondered how the communication would be back there. And I thought, for what it's worth, Molden and Hooker did a phenomenal job. You saw a few breakdowns, and as always, I thought the backup quarterback was going to sneak up and get a W
all the time.
Because it always happens on us. But you saw them hold when they needed to. And again, I thought Garrard. I thought we saw sparks of this in preseason.
Yes.
I thought he played well today. Had a couple of mishaps, but again, overall, a lot to clean up on the defense. But the one thing you can hang your hat on is you at least saw that pass rush. And I'm just gonna be honest, Ed. If Drew Rosenhaus ain't on the phone with Rand tomorrow saying how much you gonna give Tart, they done lost their mind, because you saw the difference he makes against the run game today.
And that's what I was gonna say, man. The run defense is quite different when Pop Tart's not in the game. To your point, when you said they took all the starters and they sold them, they was going no huddle, and they start running the ball. What happened when the next play? Pop Tart gets in a gain of one.
A gain of one. Yes.
So yeah, if Drew is not on the phone, man, I'm gonna give him my bag. He is not a good agent, because there is definitely a drop off when he's not in there. But when he's in that, man, that front is tough to move.
It's tough to move, man.
To run. And they had over 100 yards rushing total as a team. Yeah, we get that. It wasn't a 100-yard rusher, and so I can take that. But again, you saw that front eating, and I agree. The tackling was just so poor.
Oh gosh.
They almost made Matt Collins another Pro Bowl receiver. Last time we played against him when he played for the Raiders, he just embarrassed us. Right?
Yes.
And he almost did the same thing again today because they couldn't tackle him. So. And they got to work on that, man. I don't know if that's them not doing it as much in practice, the fear of injury or what, but tackling is fundamental and wanting to. You got to want to tackle. It's you could teach people how to fundamentally tackle folks, break down, leverage, positioning, but you got to want to tackle.
Yeah,
that's part of the game. And so if you play, especially you play defense. And so, the defense, they had their ups and downs, but did enough to win the game. Van Jefferson just dropped the ball there on fourth down. Good for us.
Yes.
6 sacks, though, man, today. Big Jeff had 2. Harold Landry had 2. Again, talk about Harold Landry. We talked about he looked like he about 7-8%, but he actually had a few little burst plays there.
He did.
Toward the end. And so like to see that out of him, that he's
and you got to think how much of that is him getting back in football shape.
That's right.
He's got 6 weeks under his belt now, so probably getting back in that shape, because I thought his second half looked better than he did the first half.
Right. And so that's the Tierra Tart, man. He's that guy, Dion. And so we saw just more pressing, man press today. I still think Fulton was playing a little bit far off, because you had Murphy Button up close, but then you had Fulton still 5 yards off. I guess he was afraid he's going to get beat. But to your point, though, I thought the secondary played well without Bayou. You really didn't notice he wasn't out there.
You didn't.
You didn't have a lot of busted coverages. You had some soft zones, though, that Bowen went in sometimes. I really didn't like that either. But,
it's a Bowen special.
It's a Bowen special, man. Bend, don't break. 342 yards for the Falcons today. 202 of that was passing, 140 rushing. And like I said, they were 2 or 3 in the red zone. So we gotta clamp down on that red zone defense. But overall, like I said, a victory is a victory at a time that a team needed a victory, because we didn't know where this team was headed, right? During the bye, we had a lot of rumors going on, who was going to be traded, who's going to be here. But I think that what you saw today is a team circle the wagons today after all the noise, and come out and get a hard-fought victory against a good football team. And, look past the record. Look past the record. That's a good football team. Nathan, I agree with you, man. Gibbons and Shazar was flying around all over.
Al Shazier is a heat seeking
He
missile,
is.
man.
He
He knocked
is.
out
He did.
Bijan Robinson one
He
time
did.
that I was like, oh gosh,
But
that
Big
it
Jeff hit
hurt
him
me.
too, though.
Big
Big
Jeff
Jeff hit
was a
Robinson
cheat
too.
code when he hit him, man.
I
That
was
was
like, darn.
Robinson probably was thinking, no dude that big supposed to move that fast and hit me.
Right. And so let's take a look at the special teams, man, because the special teams today, I think. And so let's go back one time, real quick, because we didn't speak about Mr. Garrar. And like you said, we saw that in preseason. Hated that he didn't make the squad at first, but they were able to bring him back on the practice
Yeah.
squad. But now you see him today catching punts. I do think he hesitated one time, but I thought he should have just went on and got up the field. But man, overall, he played a great game on defense and in special teams. And man, your boy Stonehouse, a 72-yard punt
72
today,
yards.
man.
Changed the whole game.
Changed
Changed the whole game with that punt. Stonehouse. I mean, if we had some faster gunners, he puts two more inside the 2 or 3 yard line.
No Cruikshank today, though.
There was no Cruikshank out there today, which is surprising, but he puts 2 or 3 more outside. I thought he played phenomenal and he was hyped up. And I think you saw that in turn juice up the defense because you were giving him good field position. And I mean, it's the first. Yeah, I agree with Nathan. The Falcons made a punt return change after that first one when he caught it on the 7-yard line. He didn't catch another punt.
Right.
And I thought they made a good play on the one return that Cordell Patterson. He's a threat anytime he touches the ball.
Yes.
And I thought they made a good play because when he turned that corner, I was like, oh, he's gone. But they had a good angle on him. And it's a good game when you don't really have to worry about folk kicking field goals. He was just kicking extra points.
Man, when's the last time we were saying that?
I can't remember the last time we had that. But overall, I thought the punt team, they held up pretty well. And you saw Arden Key was a half an inch away from blocking another one. He should have had a block punt. But I thought special teams, Stonehouse did what we needed him to do today when it became field position. He put the Falcons, especially in that first half, he put them backed up a lot where they just couldn't get their offense going.
Yeah, and so I mean, overall, man, a good team win. As Vrabel likes to say, they contributed in all 3 phases.
Yeah,
and they moved to 3-4 with a tough, short week this week going against Pittsburgh. But we look around the AFC South, man. Of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars are sitting at 6-2, 5 straight wins, man. They beat Pittsburgh today, 20-10. Of course, the Texans dropped to the winless Panthers, 15-13. And then the Colts lose as well to the Saints today. And I didn't get that final score. But the Titans are sitting at 3-4, still in the mix, man. Currently in the division. Hadn't even played Jacksonville yet. Only played the Colts with 1 game there. And so, you know what's funny, J. Lou, man? 3-0 at home. Just can't put nothing together on the road.
Man, they've got to figure out how to take this on the road, especially since they don't come back home until after Thanksgiving. They're on the road for the next 3 games. So they've got Pittsburgh, Tampa, then Jacksonville. So you've got to figure out a way to at least go 2-1. If you can go 2-1 in these next 3 that are on the road, you set yourself up, especially if those 2 include a win against Jacksonville, you set yourself up to have a pretty strong November and December. Because again, you look like a different team at home, which is great. I'm glad to see them holding court on home, holding field on home field. And then you've got 5 games in November and December at home with you still have 5 divisional games left. So for those that again think there's a way to rebuild and be competitive. And I think you're seeing a mix of that with this team because they're still, and I heard somebody say it when I in the stands today, this team is about 3 or 4 years behind when you look at players.
Yes,
there's only
definitely.
maybe 5 players left from J-Rob's entire regime that he drafted. So when you don't have that, you've got to retool that way. Now, again, I think they're setting themselves up. If you can hit on quarterback, you're setting yourself up with the money you got next year to go be able to build some of these key pieces on the offensive line and still have your skill players and not really be, as me and you talked about it earlier, the NFL ain't set up for you to be bad forever. It's a parity league. So you can, in turn, this could be a down year for us as Titans and still be competitive and be right back on top next year. So, and I think you see that with the defense we got and the coaching staff we said. We got Vrabel. I mean, losing 7 games in a row last year, a lot of the injuries. You came down again to a blown fumble call away from winning the division
Right.
with a
With a
quarterback
quarterback on the street, right?
Yeah, so
And so,
it's definitely fun to see, but they've just got to figure out a way to get something going on the road.
right, and it's gonna, you got a tough matchup with the Steelers this week, man. But you got opportunity because it's the vaunted Steelers defense is not as vaunted as it has been in the past. Currently sitting at number 30 overall,
Yeah.
giving up 382 yards of offense, 245 and they had 137 on the ground, 21 points a game. But you got that man on that side of the ball.
That's what I say. You've got
Watt.
that last name Watt has always terrorized us from his brother in Houston. So you've got to protect and watch him. With it being a short week, you're more than likely maybe going to see Mitch Trubisky, because I know that what's their quarterback name? Pickett got knocked out today.
Yeah.
So on a short week, you might see Mitchell Trubisky. And we've seen, you've got tape on him, and we've seen that. So I agree with you. I think it's going to, anytime you play the Steelers and play in Pittsburgh, it's going to be a physical game. I think was the final today like 17-10 or something like that.
20-10.
20-10. So it's going to be a physical game. They're going to want to try to run the ball. That's what we stop. They've got one. George Pickens is coming into his own, but I'm like you. It's not as vaunted of a defense as we've seen. Now, I will tell you one thing that we can expect more of that we didn't see today is I think you see a lot more blitzes, because that's just what Pittsburgh is known for. But it's a prime spot for you to be able to finally try to pick up a road win.
Tremaine Rogers, man, appreciate you joining us tonight. Appreciate the comment. He said he was impressed with Levis, but still lukewarm. To see him do it consistently. We agree with that, man.
Agreed.
We agree with that. It's just one game, one sample size. We got to see him do it more consistently. And he's got to ride the wave, man. We're going to be like we up this week. Next week we could be down because of his performance. So got to ride the wave. You got to let him take the growing pains. But every top quarterback in the league today, as it is, had those growing pains early on. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, those guys. And of course, Pat Mahomes. Everybody can't be a Pat Mahomes. He came in. He sat down. He sat down for a year. And again, I think Taylor had brought it up earlier about him sitting. And again, I go back to look at the top. He was one of the top 4 quarterbacks that you heard coming out of the draft. Right.
He probably was more NFL ready than anybody playing in the SEC, and it's just the system he was in. Because I can't remember the last time, like literally the checks and stuff he was making at the line, calling out the mic and all. He didn't look like a rookie. So you're just hoping that he can continue. When he sees something different, he's able to bounce back from that. And then when he does face some adversity, how quick he bounces back. But I think as long as you had, it was great to see the connection. You would have thought him and D-Hop been playing forever. With that connection today.
And so just listening to the talk radio as I was leaving, they said on Saturday they saw it, but in the walkthrough, they said they knew then that he was going to start, and they had already, because he said they were throwing it. He was throwing at D-Hop a lot, and so they've already got a chemistry. After a few days in practice, so that's great, man.
That's very good.
But going back to Pittsburgh, like you said, we don't know who's going to play quarterback. If it's Mr. Trubisky. There's the backup quarterback again coming in. Najee Harris, a good running back. They got some weapons at receivers, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. And so they're going to present some problems for our DBs, J-Lou. I think, though, there might be some opportunity to get some pressure on the quarterback up front. They're not as strong on the offensive side of the ball. And, of course, if we can control the game with our run game.
If Big Jeff come out there, did you see the one play where he threw the lineman with one arm?
I did.
Big
he
Jeff
was playing a different level today.
He was he was in a whole nother mode. And again, if you go back to the game after Baltimore, he's been pissed off since then when you listen to him and stuff. So he played with a whole different passion today. And I'll continue to say that Danico, you've been on the Danico train since we got him. He
got poked in the eye. Man, he was terrorizing. I was like, darn. Right. I do wish, man, him and Big Jeff let Henneke get away on that sack, but they should.
Man, he got away from both of them.
He was running for his life. Dion says, Levis took command of the offense like it was his. He's been begging Tannehill to do it. You're right, man.
He did.
Look, we've been begging Tannehill just to throw the ball down the field. Throw the ball. Throw the ball up to D-Hop, man. You go catch it. The double move was so nice, though,
man. It was.
Who said he lost the step? Because he's
what he
ran away from the DB.
He said after the game they wrote him off. He feel like Gino now.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Tremaine says
Yes.
that I see her. Yeah,
Yeah.
getting back slowly. Of course, every I had an ACL tear. It just takes a minute. It just
It
takes a
does.
minute to recover and get comfortable with that bending and that cutting. You know, you think about a pass rusher and the bending they
Especially him,
do,
his bend that he
his
has.
being getting around the tackle.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a minute for it to feel right. And you saw him looking better today than he has in previous games. Yeah, Nathan, I agree. Tannehill's all mental. Even when there's not pressure,
Yeah,
Tannehill still
he sees ghosts.
he sees pressure.
He
So
sees ghosts.
so yeah, man. Short week this week. The Steelers got to go there. It's gonna be a tough atmosphere to play in. You know, Mike Tomlin's gonna have them guys
Fired
ready,
up.
fired up, man. But I think we come out there. We're gonna have Levis is gonna see some zone blitzes. He's gonna have to be on his game. He's got to study tape this week because that's what they like to do. They like to run that zone scheme, and then you know they got, like I said, they got receivers that could give us problems in the secondary,
Yes.
especially on Christian Fulton's side. So
Because I think they got Deontay Johnson's back now too. I think
he
was
is
out with
back.
hamstring, so he's back too.
Yeah,
So
he's back, and so they got their full arsenal. And you know they still got a lot to play for as well. They are in a division where everything is tight at the moment, and you know with the Bengals coming back, Joe Burrow's healthy. It's going to be everybody's 4-3 except for Baltimore, and so you got a division that's up for grabs, and so a lot to be played for next week, man. But we'll see what happens for next week, guys. And so thank y'all again for joining us tonight for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, J. Lou, G. Witt is out tonight, man. Shout out to G. Witt, man. He'll be back with us next week. Look forward because we might have to see what time, we'll see the schedule, everybody. We might jump on after the game next week, next Thursday night, and just kind of talk about it real quick and get y'all on here, man, because it'll be fresh off the press, and we'll see what they do on Heinz Field. He said, let Spears help Landry get over the ACL bid. Spears might not tell him she's
get rid of it altogether. You're right.
Hey, look, Spears, he just about had a touchdown run today. He got to talk about Kyle Phillips.
That's what I was just gonna say. He was just too fast. If he just slows up and let Kyle Phillips go by him, it's a touchdown. That was a tough run by him, man.
That was a great run. Again, man, you give props to. So, Jay, let me ask you this, man. And again, and I know the answer, but I just want to talk about it because you had a rookie quarterback today, right? And typically, just depending on the skill set of the rookie quarterback, the playbook kind of shrinks.
Nah,
Tim was in his bag today. We saw stuff today that we hadn't seen at all.
I'm telling you, because you know where I sit. I see him going in the tunnel after the game. He had a look like, yeah, it's on now. Like, I mean, Tim Kelly was like, I got a quarterback that's letting me open up the entire playbook.
Open the book up.
And think about every long pass, every touchdown pass, with the exception of the slant, was off what? Play action.
Play action
Shots. That's all we've been asking Tannehill to do. And again, Derrick Henry is going to continue to allow play action to work for whoever's quarterback on this team because you have the defenders having 9 in the box regardless. Again, Dion pointed out, and you can see it there. Atlanta played with 9 the first quarter, and then you saw them shift back to 2 high safety because you were like, we got somebody who's actually throwing this ball around.
Right. He says he's ready to see Spears start at the route and the RB spot. Hey, yeah. So, I mean, you can see it, man. You can see it happening.
It's coming.
You can see it transitioning.
Yeah.
But I think that they realize, they being the coaches, that Derrick Henry actually helps Will Levis because now he offers a threat of and they know what he can do. Now Spears is being known too because now he's got a lot of film.
Yes.
You know, and he can get to the outside. He's shifty and he can do some things. And so, but with both of them, I think you see, I see more of a split because you see it. I mean, it's happening.
It's coming. It's
happening. And we're all seeing it, and we know that without a doubt, this will be Derrick Henry's last season because they're not going to re-sign him next year. If they do, I'll be surprised. I'll just say it that way. I'll be surprised.
I will tell you one thing that I was glad to see today. Every 3rd down and 1 or 2 was under the center.
They did the tush push. We successfully did the tush push
twice. But every 3rd and short, we were under center and not in shotgun doing something crazy.
I says, is Ben Jones still there? Yeah, I mean, if he's not retired, you know.
Yeah.
So Ben has some concussion issues there toward the end of last season. So he might be one of the guys like, yeah, it's not worth coming back. Yeah, Tremaine Chig, man, we've got to get his hands better for. I don't know what happened to him.
Chig's problem, he can't catch wide open. Think about the catch he made for the first down that was low, and then one other contested one. He caught that. Every time he's wide open, it's a drop. Chig's got to figure it out, but Tremaine's right. That's probably
play call was
touchdown.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Did
play
you
call.
see it?
Excellent play call.
I think he ran motion and came across the fake, and he ran up the middle of the line.
Yes,
I was like,
I would tell you, watching the offense today, it had the reminiscence of that 49ers or the Rams you see now with all the motion and it just not being eye candy. Like and even Miami, we use a lot of motion to get folks open, which is great. And again, to your point on that one, perfect play call. And that was the difference in you going up at least 17 to 3 or 21 to 3. Because after that, it took the momentum.
I was like, did he just run up the middle on the play action?
Yes.
I was like, man. That was great. But Nathan said Levis was sneaking for about 5 yards.
That was a strong tush push.
A strong tush push, man. But thank y'all again for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie on there, J. Lou.
Yes, sir.
Catch us, man. We'll send it out. More than likely, we'll be on right after the game Thursday night, man. So don't go to sleep. Jump on and chat with us so we can talk about the Steelers matchup, man. It's going to be a tough one for Levis. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens for Captain, for Mayo Willie.
Mayo Willie, baby.
Mayo Willie, man. But I think J. Lou, man, I think we probably got our quarterback, man.
Yeah.
It's a good sample size.
As a Titan fan, you hope he's your quarterback where you can put pieces of, because you got to remember, he's on a rookie of the rookie contract because he was a second rounder.
He's a second rounder, so you only got 4 years.
Yeah, and if he turns out to ride the rest of this wave and be the guy that needs to be the starter, then you can put pieces around him and look like these teams have looked here, like your Eagles, your Bengals, all them who when you think about it, they've made their runs with their quarterbacks being on those first year's deals because they just got paid this year. So.
Just got paid, man. But thank y'all again for joining us, man. We're Halftime Adjustments. Check us out next week after the next game. We'll send information out. We can jump on, man. But be expecting it. And come and chat it up with us, man. Halftime Adjustments, man. We out of here.